Renault has really started to listen to its customer base and perhaps our little channel in the past few years. Why? Two things. Do you remember the shape of the old Renault Koleos? No, don't think about it. And secondly, because what kind of engine do you think is under here? A 1.6 diesel? No, it's a 2-liter diesel.
Oof, surprise on both fronts. First they decided to make a good-looking Koleos, then they stuffed a 2-liter diesel into the engine bay, even though the Talisman and Espace had to do with just 1.6 liters. This new model isn't just nice to look at, but it's also pretty big. With the highest equipment level, it sits on 19-inch alloys. At the back are the now identifiable brake lights seen on the Megane, Talisman and so on. It also has a chromed bumper which gives the impression of two exhausts. Koleos is available with all-wheel drive. Although it's not meant for off-roading, this system can be useful in snowy or otherwise bad road conditions.
With a bigger SUV like this, you'd expect it to have a large boot as well. Now with this equipment level, of course the boot is, well, electric. Now, I have to say it's got quite a bit of space. We had no problems putting all our equipment and luggage in here and then still have some space left. Now just for reference, we always use the same equipment and luggage, so you get a bit of a, well, idea of how large the boot is with every car. Now we don't deal in liters, that's for beer. How many six-packs you're going to put in is your choice and problem, and depending on the type of beer as well.
I don't think the designers had time for a beer, as they made the interior more lively but still kept the Renault feeling. Apart from the big infotainment screen, there are small details which prevent the interior from becoming boring. The dashboard and doors sport interesting decorative moldings, while the car offers ambient lighting, the color of which can be changed. An electric sunroof is available, but the kings of the equipment are definitely the seats in the Initiale Paris package, which are so comfortable I felt like I was sitting on clouds. Renault knows heated seats are nice, but even nicer is cooling them, as you can get rid of the scorching heat of the leather in the summer and not feel like a pig on a spit. But now it's time to drive this big SUV. On a gravel road here, albeit I doubt the car will often see something like this, being more at home at shops and kindergartens.
Do you remember when I said that this car does not have the 1.6-liter diesel, but instead a 2-liter diesel, which is now pretty much unheard of with Renault? But yeah, this is pretty welcome. They said the 1.6-liter diesel that was in the Talisman and the Espace, for example, that was pretty much the most powerful diesel option you had, well, is now possibly getting a replacement. At least in the Koleos it has, and it's very welcome. With 130 kilowatts, it's quite nice. Of course, it's not a racer because the car is quite big, quite heavy, And especially in the bands, it does tend to lean a bit more because it's, well, meant for comfort, not sportiness. And there's another new thing, quite interesting, the transmission. It's not a double clutch, it's not a torque converter, but instead it is a CVT, so a constantly variable transmission, which is quite interesting if you've never driven one before. It's definitely different than your manual or normal automatic, because sometimes the RPM will just stay somewhere. It basically means infinite gears. As far as the consumption goes with this transmission and the engine, well, we're going to see about that in the actual test.
I can't really say I'm too fond of CVTs, but they do offer very smooth and relaxing driving and acceleration through cities. Anyway, I will test the Koleos in the future. For now, we can just admire its shapes.
Takle večji SUV mora imeti seveda tudi... je vroč. Renault has started really listening to its customer